This is Three Rivers, Michigan, a town where three actual rivers braid together right through downtown. A typical home here runs about $232,000. And on this list, that's only good enough for 10th place. Now, if winter is what's kept you out of Michigan, I get it. The shoveling, the white-knuckle drives, the gray that outstays its welcome. So here's the promise. Michigan doesn't have one winter. It has several, and in the state's bottom corner, it shrinks to a fraction you can live with. By number 1, we'll be in a town with about a third of the snow northern Michigan shovels, a hospital that opened in 2020, and a typical home around $193,000. 10 towns, one ranking rule, the least winter for the fewest dollars. Every price is current Zillow data, and every emergency room is verified this month, which matters because one town on this list lost its hospital on June 19, 2026, and the other videos still say it's there. Let's count them down. So why is a town this pretty parked at number 10? One reason, it's the most expensive doorstep of the 10, at about $232,000, still miles under the national number, but the ceiling of this list. What you get for it is real. The St. Joseph, the Portage, and the Rocky meet in the middle of town. You can stand on one bridge downtown and account for all three. A block away, the Riviera Theater, a 1925 movie house, still lights its marquee over Main Street. Winter here sits in Michigan's middle band, call it 50 inches a year, with a January that's cold but not northern cold. Healthcare is the quiet strength. Three Rivers Health Hospital, part of Beacon Health System, has a 24-hour ER right in town. And hold on to that hospital, in a few minutes it's going to matter to a lot more people than the ones who live here. The honest catch comes with the scenery. Three rivers in one downtown means the flood maps are required reading before you buy, and the price of entry is the highest we'll see today. Before we go on, here's the odd thing about the bottom row of Michigan counties. It's the mildest part of the state, and it's also the cheap part, because this is old factory and farm country along US 12. The vacation money went north and to the lakeshore. The mild, flat middle got skipped. That accident of history is this entire video. Now Niles, in the far southwest, where Michigan is at its warmest. This is fruit belt country. The lake keeps it soft enough for peaches and wine grapes. It's also the only city in Michigan that's flown 4 flags: France, Britain, Spain, and the United States. The Spanish part? A raiding party took the local fort in 1781 and held it for about a day. The town has been dining out on those 24 hours ever since. Down the street, the 1892 Michigan Central Depot, still a working Amtrak stop, was once so famous for its gardens that the railroad kept full-time gardeners on staff. The typical home runs about $217,000, and healthcare's covered twice over. Corewell Health Lakeland Niles Hospital with a 24-hour ER is right in town, and the big South Bend hospitals are 20 minutes south. The catch is the lens talking. Warmest is not shortest. That same lake sends Niles 60+ inches of snow a year, double what the other corner of the state gets. You'll be warm while you shovel. From the warmest town on the list to the one that will test you most in January. Hillsdale is a handsome county seat of about 8,000 wrapped around a private liberal arts college. And the campus is the postcard. The towers of Central Hall have crowned the hill since 1875, and many of the college's concerts and fine arts events are open to the public, though some require reservations. On the edge of town sits Baw Beast Lake, named for the Potawatomi chief whose band lived on its shore. And here's the detail I love. The St. Joseph River, the same water we watched roll through Three Rivers, rises right here in Hillsdale County. This is where southern Michigan starts. The money is friendly, typical home about $209,000, and the healthcare setup is a rare breed. Hillsdale Hospital is one of Michigan's last fully independent community hospitals with a 24-hour ER in town. Remember that word, independent. It comes back at number 6. The honest catch is exactly why the river starts here. Hillsdale sits on some of the highest ground in southern Michigan, and altitude collects winter. 50+ inches, a few degrees colder than everyone else today, the longest winter on this list. Number 7 has the best brag in Michigan, and it's painted on the water tower. Constantine, population around 2,000, calls itself the seed corn capital of the world. The fields around this village grow the seed that plants a serious share of America's corn. That's not a festival slogan, it's an industry, and the water tower makes sure you don't forget it. The other landmark is quieter. The 1830s Governor John S. Barry House. Barry served 3 non-consecutive terms as Michigan's governor, and his house now serves as a small museum, open for special occasions or by appointment. When the US 131 bypass took the truck traffic out of downtown, it left behind something you can't buy, a genuinely still Main Street. Homes run about $216,000, and the money stretches. This is village living with big lot elbow room. The catch is the trade every tiny town asks for. There's no ER in Constantine. The nearest is Three Rivers Health Hospital, a dozen minutes up the road. Close enough for most people, worth a hard think if minutes matter to your heart. And your social calendar is a do-it-yourself project. Groceries in town, everything else is a drive. If you remember one thing from this video, make it this next sentence. On June 19, 2026, Sturgis Hospital closed, all of it permanently after more than a century. Emergency room, surgery, imaging, everything. This was Michigan's first federally designated rural emergency hospital, a program built specifically to keep small-town ERs alive, and it closed anyway. So a town of 11,000 that had an ER 2 miles away now drives to one of 3. Parkview LaGrange Hospital across the Indiana line under 20 minutes. Three Rivers Health Hospital, yes, the hospital from number 10, now the only one left in this county, about 25, or Insight Hospital and Medical Center Coldwater, about the same. Most lists you'll find still show Sturgis with a hospital. As of August 2026, it does not have one. Here's why Sturgis still makes the list. It's a real town with real bones. They call it the Electric City, because it's run its own municipal power company since the 1890s, with a city-owned dam on the St. Joseph River spinning since 1911. Your electric bill goes to City Hall, not a conglomerate. And no, this is not the motorcycle rally. That's South Dakota. This Sturgis goes to bed early. The typical home runs about $217,000. Winter is the same moderate 50-inch band as its neighbors, and for a healthy household that's honest value. But the ER math changed on June 19, 2026, and you deserve to know it before the brochure is due. Number 5 starts with the price tag because it's the second lowest of the day. The typical Battle Creek home runs about $185,000, a full city, for less than most of the villages we just visited. And it is a full city. This is Cereal City, where W.K. Kellogg poured the modern breakfast into a bowl, and the National Cereal Festival still serves a free downtown breakfast each June, carrying on the tradition once known as the world's longest breakfast table. Today, rows of tables line McCamley Street, rather than one record-length table running down Michigan Avenue. It's also a place with weight to it. Sojourner Truth chose Battle Creek as her home for the last quarter century of her life, and her monument stands here today. Healthcare is the strongest we've seen so far. Bronson Battle Creek Hospital, a full-service hospital with a 24-hour ER, right in the city. The honest catch: the cereal business that built this town has been split up and sold off in the last few years, and Battle Creek is a city of very different blocks. Tour the neighborhoods in person, because your dollar lands differently street by street. That's the homework the price is paying you for. One driving note before we go: from Battle Creek, every county you head east and south, the annual snowfall column shrinks. Hold that thought. The top of this list lives where it bottoms out. Number 4 opens with the biggest medical safety net on this entire list. Henry Ford Jackson Hospital, formerly known as Allegiance Health, anchors a health system of more than 400 beds with a Level 2 trauma center right in town. Nothing else today comes close. If the thing you're really shopping for is what happens on your worst day, Jackson just answered it. And the typical home costs about $195,000. The town is stranger and better than its reputation. Since 1932, the Cascades has turned summer evenings into a show. A 500-foot man-made waterfall pours down a hillside in colored light, built by a local eccentric who wanted his town to have a wonder. The illuminated falls operate Wednesday through Sunday from Memorial Day through Labor Day. And Michigan's very first state prison, once the largest walled prison on Earth, has been partly reborn as Armory Arts Village. Artists now live and work inside the old cell blocks. That's the most Jackson sentence possible. And no, different Jackson than the one in our Ohio episode. Michigan's version is 10 times the size. The honest catch: Jackson carries a rough reputation from its industrial slide. And like Battle Creek, it's a block-by-block market. Walk the specific street, both in daylight and after dinner, before you sign anything. Do that homework, and the hospital-to-price ratio here is nearly unbeatable. Now the number that made me recheck the spreadsheet. The typical home in Albion costs about $143,000. Not the fixer-uppers, the typical home. That's more than $40,000 below anything else on this list. Albion was a foundry town, set where branches of the Kalamazoo River meet at a spot everyone just calls the Forks. Its annual Festival of the Forks celebrates the city's heritage and diversity. The name comes from those river branches, not the ironworks. When the foundries went quiet, the town took hard decades, and the price on your screen is the receipt. But look at what stayed and what's coming back. Albion College anchors the East Side. The 1929 Bohm Theater still screens movies and hosts live events because residents raised the money to restore it. There's an active Amtrak stop downtown, and the town holds one of America's otter claims. A local churchgoer named Juliet Calhoun Blakely was honored by her sons with one of the earliest Mother's Day observances, back in 1877. The two catches told straight. First, there's no ER in Albion. Oaklawn Hospital in Marshall, whose emergency department is open 24 hours a day, is about 15 minutes west. Second, this is a rebuilding town. Buy here for the value and the bones, and bring patience for the polish. So why isn't the cheapest town number one? The lens. Albion's winter is ordinary southern Michigan winter. Fine, but not short. The last two towns are where the map itself changes. Remember the driving note from Battle Creek? Here's where the snowfall column bottoms out. Monroe, down in the corner where Michigan touches Lake Erie and Ohio, gets around 30 inches of snow a year, the lightest in the entire state, with one of Michigan's longest frost-free seasons thrown in. When people say Michigan winter, they are not describing Monroe. And the town under that gentle sky has more history per block than anywhere else today. It started as Frenchtown in 1784, one of the oldest European settlements in Michigan. The River Raisin National Battlefield Park, from the War of 1812, sits right in town and is open year-round. And my favorite fact on this whole list, the La-Z-Boy recliner was invented here in 1927 by two cousins in a garage, and the company is headquartered in Monroe to this day. The official chair of retirement is a local product. There's even William C. Sterling State Park on Lake Erie, Michigan's only state park on that lake, 10 minutes from downtown. Healthcare. ProMedica Monroe Regional Hospital, a full hospital with a 24-hour ER and Level 4 trauma care, in town, with Toledo's Level 1 Trauma Center about half an hour south. Now the catch, because Monroe's scorecard is about to outscore number one. The typical home is about $225,000, second priciest today. The lakefront is shared with heavy industry, and the low blocks along the River Raisin come with flood maps to read. If money's loose, Monroe may be your number one. But this is an affordability list, and one town delivers nearly the same winter for $32,000 less. And number one. Remember the town I promised at the start? A third of the snow northern Michigan shovels. A hospital that opened in 2020. Homes around $193,000. Here it is, Adrian, 1 county west of Monroe, in the same blessed corner of the map. Start with the winter, since that's the assignment. Adrian sees roughly 35 inches a year. Northern Lower Michigan shovels 3 times that. The Upper Peninsula 5 or 6 times. Down here, winter is a season, not an occupation. Real thaws, an early spring, and a January that mostly behaves. Then the price. The typical home runs about $193,000, third cheapest of the day, in a full-service county seat of $21,000 with 2 colleges and maple-lined streets of Victorians and 4 squares. Downtown, the Croswell Opera House has been putting on shows since 1866, billed as the oldest theater in Michigan, still doing exactly what it was built to do. Buy here and your Friday nights are handled by a building older than the light bulb. And the piece that seals first place, ProMedica Charles and Virginia Hickman Hospital, opened in 2020. One of the newest hospital buildings in the entire state, runs at 24-hour ER minutes from downtown. Cheap towns almost never come with brand new hospitals. Adrian does. The honest catch is, it's a workaday county seat, not a resort. Some blocks are tired, there's no interstate, so Toledo and Ann Arbor are 45-minute drives, and let's say it plainly, the shortest winter in Michigan is still a Michigan winter. The gray Novembers are included in the price. But that price buys the best answer in the state to the question we asked. The least winter for the fewest dollars, with a new hospital and a live stage thrown in. All 10, side by side. Go ahead and screenshot this one. Quick legend. On every column, 5 is the best news for you, so a 5 on winter means the shortest, mildest winter. Read it by what matters to you. If winter is the enemy, only 2 towns score a 5. Monroe and Adrian, the southeast corner. And everything else is a compromise. If price is everything, Albion stands alone, with Battle Creek, Adrian, and Jackson behind it. If healthcare keeps you up at night, the 5s are Jackson, Battle Creek, and Monroe. And remember the Sturgis lesson. Check the hospital's status the month you buy. Best all-around mix, Adrian. One closing thought. You can't move somewhere in Michigan and skip winter. That's a different video, and if you want me to make it, say so. What this corner of the state sells is a smaller winter. Fewer inches, more thaws, an earlier spring. And by pure historical luck, the mild corner is also the cheap corner. That combination almost never happens. Every number here came from a source. And where the facts changed, like a 100-year-old hospital closing on June 19, 2026, you heard it here first, told straight. So, the comments, which of these 10 could you see yourself in, and what's the shortest winter town near you that I missed? Those answers write the next episode. And if this saved you a weekend of squinting at listing maps, the like button helps the next budget shopper find it too. I'll see you in the next town.